Okay, make further head and tails of this. Connect up the remote. Okay. So, I know it. The 750 would talk with the SDDS. See, it's talking. So yeah, the backs of rounds they usually go to, because it's they go to the left centre, right centres signals there. They go up to there. When it's in EX mode or 7.1. And then those signals would then output on the system output, but those signals will be going to my screen channel, left center, right center. They'll be going into the wrong position, so they got to be reconfigured with a special. So I think, you know, the 750 was made after the, obviously after the Sony SDDS. So I've got to figure where to, you know, otherwise the LCR, but I can't understand why the sub signal is going into channel 24. It seems like a positive signal outputs here. Where is it here? They're positive outputs, obviously. But they don't tell you, but they gotta be. Anyway, doesn't matter positive, negative. You know when you put it on an oscilloscope and such, you see something strange. So it wouldn't be even advisable to buy a bloody lead that's pre-made, because it wouldn't even configure to that. You got to do it. You got to have a lead that's specially made, already pre-made for that, or make the lead up yourself, which is a heck of a lot cheaper than some of the crap they will be selling, even from some of these cinema suppliers. And it's like this lead cable, it's like they try to make out it's bloody special, when the fucking cabling is no more different than this fucking cabling. And they probably soldered the bloody thing on and all that, when you can just use one of these and just you get immaculate result. No soldering, except I don't think they make solderless bloody XLRs, so I've still got to solder the bloody XLRs. At least I only have to solder the ground and the bloody the positive on. So yeah, I want to that cut soldering down by a little bit. But it really does my head in, this bloody, I mean, all Dolby Labs are trying to do there with Dolby 7.1 is copycat SDDS, when Dolby Labs were effectively doing away with left centre, right centre, probably around during the 1970s with Star Wars and so on. They were effectively doing away with left centre, right centre. I'm sure some people at the time around then, older than, I'm pretty sure some people were pretty pissed off with that. But the film prints, the cinema processor could still handle and do those channels with the specific film print. But effectively, Dolby Labs were axing left centre, right centre. You know, they can't make up their fucking mind, can they? And then until 1990, Sony kind of resurrected the revised left center, right center. And now that kind of like Sony's no longer doing it, and then Dolby Labs are kind of stepping in and with surround it, like trying to make, you know, it's just making the surround back channels stereo. It's the big deal, you know. I think just use a PL2X on there, right, to kind of get that pan sound moving around, say like in certain movies like, I don't know, what's it, Mars Attack, Mars, Mission to Mars, and the dialogue is panning around. If it goes onto the SA10, then it's going to phantomize over the array of surrounds on, and then pan over to the left, and then back on, and then snap back on the center channel. So the D put it for a PL2X, and it sounds like it's individually shifting, but it's still matrixly doing it, but it's shifting independently slightly with a matrixy. Yeah. You do that in a cinema, most of the audience ain't gonna know the fucking difference. Plain and simple. But they come up with this fucking, you know, and it's fucking hell, this wiring is fucking arse backward. You know, I've just got to just try and pause, step back, breathe, and think, okay. Otherwise, with the outputs going on the, you know, connecting up on the hair, I could have kind of like a dual, kind of like a main output DB25 connector, and have two DB connectors on the end. Yeah, I'll just make this shit up as I go along.
I don't know. I'm making this up as I go.
So, I could do a lead like that. I think that might solve my other problem. I'm not too sure. Well, it's not my problem. It's which one is it? I think it's that problem there. That's it. Its problem. Well, it's not really an it, you know. It's immaterial. So yeah, I could do like a dual, like a free XLR. So the main connector up here. If I can zoom in on that, let's get a closer picture. So that's the output. I could effectively, you know, all the wiring is the same, and when it comes out and then comes down almost to the end of the lead, I would have to kind of make a split in the cabling and put some additional heat shrink over the wiring, yeah, and then put the heat gun on it, shrink it all up so it's all neat, with an additional second heat shrink going over it, so it makes it all firm, and you know, yeah, it's a bit of a big deal, this. And then so the outputting could have, instead of the outputting to the inputting, I could bring those other channels down onto here. But have I got any spare? There? Because if they system out from here, they'll be going out into the wrong bloody channels. They'll be going out into my left center, right center channels. Not that I mind. I think it should be doing that. Yeah. Yeah, so I could make a lead like that up. I don't know why I just don't get another few more XLR DB25 solderless, and yeah, I can make that lead up. Otherwise, and also incidentally, I think this lead's a little bit too long for what I'm going to need, because I'm not going to have it that bloody long behind the bloody rack. I only need it. Where's it going from? Where's this going to go from? If I'm going to make my mind up, is it going to go from the output? Not necessarily output, but the output from there. That's, oh gosh, is it the output from here? It's going up to there, and the output, yeah, the output from here is going on to the input. The output from there is going down to onto the auxiliary number 2 on the SDDS. It's confusing. That's why it's so great. In a nutshell, I hate wiring. I like doing calibrating and sound listening. That shit I like doing. I just hate fucking wiring. Oh dear. But you get learning experience from it. So yeah, I've got options there I could do.